Hi everyone, welcome to Viewers Drive and Fail number 4. In this video we're going to try a little different format. I'm going to be rating all parties involved. They're either going to get an A if they're absolutely impeccable, or an F if they couldn't do worse. And obviously everything in between. Now, my viewer's got a busy road to emerge on. The A6 is one of the longest roads in the country, and it's rarely going to be quiet. And I think my viewer gets a little impatient and goes at a gap where they shouldn't have done. Don't forget, they admit to this also. The motorcyclist was travelling a little fast, however, my viewer should have taken some better observations. The junction didn't look as though it was closed, and I thought the view was good enough. Junctions like this, if you don't take effective observation, are where people are going to get killed. So my viewer gets an E, but the motorcyclist still could have done better. Gets a C. In this clip we've got the same viewer as we had in the first one. They're travelling on the M1 quite near the edge of London. In fact, this is London Gateway Services on the left. And remember, if one junction goes off, there's usually another one coming on shortly. My viewer doesn't plan well enough for this. The black car in lane 2 following just behind my viewer does help out in the end, but I don't think my viewer spots it. But as soon as the car appears on the slit road, my viewer takes far too long to adjust the speed, and so does the one emerging. They both expected the other person to fix it, and neither did. So they both get rated as a C. Meanwhile, the Ford who tried to help gets an A. Well done. In this clip I've disguised the audio a bit, but we need to hear what's going on because of the reaction or lack of it from the vehicle behind. My viewer's emerge is terrible, and considering they know exactly what they're going to do in a moment, it's even worse. They should have spotted this car coming, but they still continue. There's no gestures or even horn use from the car that came up behind. They totally made it a non-event. And that's why they get an A. But my viewer, on the other hand, for a total lack of care and attention, I'm sorry, it's got to be a D. My viewer's driving sensibly for the conditions, and they fully admitted that they didn't realise that this was a horse. I think this was a tough one. With the amount of standing water, the brightness and the fact that the horse was in the shadow, this is an easy mistake to make. It could have easily looked like another pedestrian. The overtake was nice and wide, but even when you do spot it's a horse, just slow down a little more. My viewer gets a B. As with all of these clips, my viewer was really accepting in their mistake that they made, and like most people, they just want people to learn from their experience. Thank you so much for sending all these brilliant clips in. The courage to send in footage of your own mistakes helps so many people. In this one, my viewer just gets a little target fixated on a particular hazard. This is easily done, but cyclists and lorries are a dangerous combination. There's a few warning signs from this lorry driver. There doesn't look to be anyone in front, but the brake lights keep popping on and off. What's happening? Then this happens. My viewer was a little caught up in a near miss and shouldn't have overtaken the lorry. But the lorry driver shouldn't be doing a U-turn there, and especially if someone's overtaking. So in my opinion, the lorry driver, because they can do more damage, gets a C, and my viewer gets away with a B, but there's still lessons to be learnt. What score should we give the scooter rider? I think E. There's been a fairly big advertising campaign recently of the dangers of lorries' blind spots, and this is what my viewer gets caught out with a little. In this situation I'd be holding back behind a trailer of this heavy until I knew I could clear properly. Now watch the lorry's indicator come on. The use of the horn was needed, but it was only needed because my viewer got themselves into a tricky situation. Not a dangerous one, however it could have been. My viewer gets a C and the lorry driver also gets a C. Did they not spot my viewer? My viewer tries to do a lane change back to the left, but spots the car undertaking at speed and then corrects the problem. I actually don't think this is a mistake. I think my viewer did a good job. The point in which they first checked and signalled, it was clear, and it was only after that that the car from behind did its undertake. Just try and leave your signal on a little longer before moving. B+. The pressures delivery drivers are under are immense, I get that, but it's still no excuse not to look. You wouldn't cross the road without looking, so don't drive your vehicle without looking. This was probably caused because my viewer was watching the traffic to the right too much. Remember to look both sides.
Oh shit, there's a red light. Yeah. My goodness.
This is no different than the van driver in the previous clip. However,
I know what you're doing. Oh, he's going.
the nice save as the taxi driver was starting to move off gives my viewer a grade C. In the first clip, I talked about the motorbike being rather quick around a junction where cars could pull out. This clip's no different, but it's my viewer on the motorbike this time. There's no way in the world that that minibus should emerge, but it does, so it gets a grade E. This is dangerous. But far too many people drive and ride without the thought of they haven't seen me, so my viewer only gets a grade C. Priority is irrelevant if you're dead. Watch my viewer's speed. In this clip, we've got some lovely clean footage from a VFO dashcam. These are the dashcams that I've used for years. All the links are in the description where you can get an extra 5% discount if you use the code AshleyNeil. Thanks for supporting the channel. And in this clip, my viewer freely admitted that they were going a little fast. They touched 33 miles an hour. But how many people driving would normally be doing a fair bit more than that? And being faster would have been fatal. My viewer scores a B, but this parent scores a D. Try and keep an eye on your kids rather than looking at your phone. Hopefully she's learnt a lesson though. For this final clip, my viewer's parked in a legitimate parking space here on the right hand side of the road. As they move off, there's a little bit of congestion a little touch further up because there's a no entry, so my viewer's got to turn round. And they're going to use the area that the black Jaguar has just departed from. That seems a sensible choice. The name of this clip was Selfish Drivers Cost Me £200, but I'm not sure there's anyone else involved with this situation. Let me know what you think. Now, I'm not sure why my viewer didn't move off to the right. Were they waiting for this wedding that's probably happening around, and I'm only guessing that with the white ribbons on the Mustang in front of my viewer. In any case, they do seem a little pressurised to move by these vehicles that are coming from the left hand side. And it's the next one, the Jaguar. I think that they wish to use this space or a little bit of it that my viewer's parked in, and I think they asked them to move back a little. My viewer obliges, but without looking.
Sean.
I'm sorry to say to my viewer, there was no one else involved in this clip apart from yourself. Let's hope you've learned from it and, more importantly, everyone else has too, watching your mistake. Unfortunately, all I can give you is a grade D. Keep safe everyone, I'll see you soon.